Give me my theme music!
What's up, Buffs Nation, and welcome in to Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ Dornish, and it's been a few days, of course. Like I said, gone again. This time over something, like I said, I will be detailing on Monday of next week. Some changes, life changes that are good changes that will hopefully in a positive way affect the channel. But I can share those with you guys next week on Monday's show, which we'll be doing in the afternoon, as always. So, welcome in, everybody. I see Robert in the chat, as well as Timothy. Appreciate you guys dropping by. Thank you so much. And of course, the big news of the weekend and what this video is all about is the fact that we have lost Damione Lewis as our defensive line coach. I want to talk about what happened. I want to talk about what it means, why it's not the end of the world like some people are making it out to be, and who could possibly replace Damione Lewis for Coach Prime. Of course, we'll first talk about the news, the fact that Damione Lewis is going to his alma mater, Miami, which same kind of move that Coach Dancy and Lode Holt made, with Dancy going to his alma mater to coach his position over there. So these guys are making moves to places where it's going to affect their family more than anything else. If you watched Wednesdays with Warren today on the pregame show, they actually talked about the switch and the move. And, you know, Coach Sapp said for Lewis, for D-Lew, the move was because of a family thing. It's, you know, it's a better thing for him to be in Miami with his family. That's where they're all from. That's where they all feel comfortable. And so he gets to be back with his family doing the same thing he's doing now, but at his alma mater. So it makes sense in a way. Those things are going to happen sometimes. Now, when you look at it, you could also say, well, Coach Sapp is also a Miami alum. How come he didn't go or wasn't picked? We don't know specifically. My guess is that doesn't matter as much to him. He loves coaching with Coach Prime. He loves the relationships he's already built with these kids. So he's going to be sticking around for a while. And really, there's no reason that he's going to go anywhere else, if we're being completely honest. Now, the question is, do they promote Coach Sapp or do they hire somebody else? Well, from what Coach Sapp said himself today on Wednesdays with Warren, and Uncle Neely said it as well, the team and Coach Prime will be looking for a new defensive line coach. Whether that's an assistant or a head is yet to be determined. So there very well could mean that Coach Sapp could be elevated to that position, but they're for sure bringing somebody in, whether that's going to be the assistant or the head. Now, I've been scouring the internet and looking to see if I can find any sort of clues or hints of who it could possibly be, and I'm honestly at a loss. Because if there's one thing that we're learning very quickly with Coach Prime, it's that his coaching hires are not always what you think. Okay, we go to the offensive line hires, of course, Gunnar White from within. That could be a thing, but there's nobody really on the staff that I could see stepping up into that defensive line position. Now, as far as the outside, look at the O-line hire. We actually brought in Andre Girard, a Buff alumni, a Cowboys teammate, Cowboys player that knew Coach Prime. Perfect fit there. Somebody that we had no idea was on the radar for that job. So again, it's always, every one of these positions, somebody gets hired that has nothing to do or is in no way related or understandable as a potential stuff. Okay? So that's what we're looking at. Thank you, Keith. I am 100% now. The cold is gone. We're rocking and we're rolling. Okay, what's up, Coach Dre? Appreciate you dropping in. Thank you guys so much for dropping in and watching. It's going to be a light show. Going to be a little bit of a shorter show today as we kind of discuss this. There's not too much to discuss overall because, like I said, there's really no idea who this could be. So I want to turn to you, the chat, or if you're watching this later on in the comments down below, let me know who you could see as a potential addition to the coaching staff. The fact is that Coach Prime has an idea. There is people behind the scenes that have an idea of who could be the person they bring in. And one thing we are learning very quickly when it comes to Coach Prime and all of these positions is the fact that he always knows about these things. I'm sure he knew that D. Lou was looking at going to Miami way before it became public this weekend. And the wheels have already been rolling when it comes to a replacement for D. Lou on the coaching staff. So it'll be interesting to see who they can get to fill that role. You let me know who would be a dream hire for the defensive line coaching position or an assistant. Let me know if you think that Coach Sapp deserves to be promoted to the head defensive line coach when it comes to this team. Appreciate you guys very much. Oh, Keith coming in big. I love this one. DeMarcus Ware or Charles Haley. And here's the thing. DeMarcus Ware has coaching experience, by the way. He consulted with the Broncos for a short period, then moved on to consult for the Cowboys. So he has had those consulting jobs, so that could be a potential. He has enjoyed his time in the Denver area after playing for the Broncos. Of course, though, he moved on, went back to Dallas, is a Dallas legend, but probably has those connections and ties to Coach Prime. That's an outside-the-box thought, and I absolutely love it, Keith. That's what I'm looking about because I could not even think about that. Now, Charles Haley, another good one. Both you and Robert Mathis bring that up. Another great potential hire for Coach Prime and the team. This one, I have to imagine, like I said, it's not going to come from within. Okay, it's not going to be a Gunnar White situation. They'll go out and get somebody else, somebody who has probably ties with Warren Sapp, Coach Prime, maybe the state of Colorado, maybe the Colorado Buffaloes on top of that. Who could it be that can fill that role? Okay, I appreciate you guys in your comments. Want to look a little bit more at Charles Haley. I don't know if he has any sort of coaching background. If anybody else wants to let me know, because I would love to. We're going to go through his page. Obviously, Cowboys, 49ers connections with Coach Prime. Looks like I don't see anything when it comes to coaching background or experience. Buddy, we speculate because it's something to talk about. We speculate because it's something to talk about, something interesting to think about, and it's a dead period right now. What else are we going to talk about? You want to talk about, for the 100th time, who's going to win the quarterback battle before we even get there? It's just something we can talk about while we're kind of in a, kind of more quiet period and figure out, okay, who could potentially fill that role? Who would you guys want to see in that role? Why would you want to see them in that role? Those are all great things to think about. Okay. Neely said if you can connect the dots, the guy is connected to Prime and Livingston. I'm lost. Huh. That's very interesting as well. You got to think about who has coached maybe in the Bengals organization in the last 10 years. I'm going to pull up a history of the defensive line coaches for... Nick Eason was a Bengals defensive line coach at a previous time. Obviously, at a time that Livingston was there. Does he have any connection to Coach Prime? Let's see. Nick Eason, where is he at now? Okay. Defensive line coach at Clemson, it looks like right now. Is that correct? That's another tie. And he's in the college game. He does have Marvin Lewis does have connections with, but geez, that would be unbelievable to get a head coach from the NFL to come and be a position coach. I don't know if you guys saw this too, but Ohio State hired Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator. I'm a little shocked at that. Why didn't UNC and Bill Belichick take him since he's Bill Belichick's guy? It's a little surprising that he isn't at UNC. But just looking right now, yep, Nick Eason was the Auburn defensive line coach, currently the Clemson defensive line coach. That's another connection there. Played with the Broncos, Browns, Steelers, Cardinals. Okay. Let's keep looking at the history of the Bengals. Oh my gosh, Robert Mathis. Don't even. Would Lawrence Taylor even want to be a coach, do you think? Do we know if he has any interest in becoming a coach at some point? Professional career, has he been tied at all? Investments, tax issues, television pundit, movies, Hall of Fame, autobiography, legal troubles. Oh, I'm going to stick with Marvin Lewis until proven otherwise. I mean, that'd be a heck of a grab. Like I said, Marvin Lewis would be an unbelievable grab. Would be great to have in the building just to help Livingston a little bit more, to do the defensive line stuff, to let Warren do his thing in the trenches, but maybe he does his thing more in the strategy and just, some of that stuff. There's a lot of things that would make that an unbelievable hire. Absolutely love the thinking there. Don't give a damn. Robert Mathis, you're coming in with some unbelievable names as well. Charles Haley name. Overall, we can think kind of outside the box and think a little bit crazy here because did we ever think that Marshall Faulk would be the running backs coach? Which brings me to my next question. Like, even losing D. Lou, I saw the question asked online, and I want to ask you guys, do you think that Colorado has the best coaching staff front to back, back to front? Within the organization, the personnel that we have on this staff, is it the best staff in college football? Of course, Coach Prime at the head coaching spot. Pat Shurmur as the OC. Robert Livingston as the DC. You got Warren Sapp, Brett, our tight ends coach. We got Mathis, Coach Mathis. We've got George Hilo in a position there. Oh my gosh, Marshall Faulk, Tommy Robinson. Man, I mean, the list goes on. Obviously, Gunnar White, Andre Girard, George Hegeman in there now as well. I mean, almost every single person on the staff has some kind of ties to the NFL, and it's just unbelievable to see. So let's see what you guys say. Okay, let's see what you guys say. Oh, Buddy's saying Ray Lewis as the position. The hire will be a young hire, says Brandon. That'll be interesting. That would be interesting. Livingston was also on the Vandy coaching staff in 2011. Maybe that's the connection. We have to go see that. So don't give a damn. No, not the best coaching staff. Brandon, no, nowhere close yet, says Brandon. Okay. SB Warden says yes. Joe, this loss hurts. It does and it doesn't. Okay. The fact that we still have Sapp is a good thing. The fact that we have Sapp is still a good thing. If we lost out on all of our defensive line, if Sapp was our only guy or D-Lou was our only guy and they left, then I would say it's a massive loss. It's a loss, yes, but we also lost Lode Holt, and I think right now we might be in a better spot than we were before we lost Lode Holt. Dancy left, able to kind of figure that out and kind of promote within and make the difference there with George Hilo taking on that role. So far, we've done a great job of reloading and filling those spots, guys. I don't know if it's a big loss yet. I will wait to see who gets hired. Ed Ogeron. Oh my gosh. Big O would be hilarious. It hurts when you look at what him and Sapp add. Yes, as a tandem, they are very, very good together. I get that. But whoever they bring in is going to have some sort of relationship already with Sapp, a relationship with the rest of the coaching staff, and should be able to come in without skipping a beat, guys. That's a fact. People need to realize that Damione Lewis was on a 1-year contract. Shit happens in sports. That's exactly right. Oh, here's a good one. Dwight Freeney. Are there ties there between Livingston and Coach Prime for a Dwight Freeney type? Corey Fuller, another. Robert, you're on fire today. You're on fire today with the suggestions. Yes, this staff is top 5, just throwing out there Marvin Lewis. So Coach Dre also on the Marvin Lewis train. Again, all of these names I would be extremely happy with. And let's be honest, the Gunnar White hire, while it was, kind of not great at the time, became great within 24 hours of the announcement when you added Andre Girard to that room. So my guess is we got to be careful. We can't overreact when it does get named. If it's not somebody big, there could be something else going on. Buddy, I get it. I do. Again, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for the one other season. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt one other season. And if all of the other moves are saying anything, it is that we will be running the ball more and the offense is going to look very different based on what we're seeing added around. Whether that's the new running backs coach, whether that's the multiple offensive line coaches, there is going to be a big change when it comes to that. Oh, another good. Robert, are you just going down the list of defensive linemen Hall of Famers that have any ties to these guys? Because you're coming out with a great list. Question is, are any going to be a for sure candidate for Colorado? I looked at the current staff. I looked at people in analyst roles and behind the scenes. I don't see anybody that is promotable from within. Obviously, besides Warren Sapp, if you're talking about the head coach. But if we're just talking about D-line in general, there's nobody there that you could bring up. So we definitely don't have a Gunnar White situation on our hands. Yeah, Robert, I think it's could be it because of his relationship with Prime. Okay. Derek Brooks, Sapp's. Oh my gosh. Now there you go, Joe Kid. There's a name. Derek Brooks and Sapp coaching together. That's a pretty good one. Again, I'm definitely thinking younger because it will give more loyalty. And I'm thinking a graduate assistant, 2 and coming. This would be the place to be. We can still add a graduate assistant after the fact. So it doesn't have to be this position. We can hire 2 people. We can do 2 people instead. Booger McFarland. That's an interesting one. There's a graduate assistant at Penn State that might be a good look, and he played D-line at Penn State as well. Does he have ties to Livingston or Prime? Or anybody else in the team? Here's the thing. It's something I'm realizing very quickly with Coach Prime. He either gets somebody that is tied to him or somebody that is tied to somebody on the staff that can vouch for that specific person. Are there any coaches out there, ex-NFL players, that have been trying to get into coaching and haven't been able to? That could be another thing to look at. Because it seems like that's kind of where Coach grabs certain people from. Marshall Faulk, Warren Sapp a little bit, all guys that could be. For DB, not going to be defensive line is not going to be Champ Bailey coach. But it is. Coach Dre, that's what Prime does. We're seeing that, Shermer wasn't necessarily tied to Prime, but had recommendations from other people that Prime knew. Livingston, same thing. He didn't have direct relations to him, but everybody around him said what a great person Livingston was and how smart he was. So you got to look at that. And of course, like the Marshall Faulk, the NFL Network. Are there any coaches from the NFL Network? Was Steve Mariucci ever a D guy first? I can't remember if he was an offensive guru. Marvin Lewis is a great, great name to throw out there. That one makes the most sense to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a guy that they bring in. A lot of ties, NFL ties to Prime, ties to Livingston. That one would absolutely make sense and, be a part of that. Mike Zimmer got let go and Dallas got rid of McCarthy a couple weeks. Zimmer's kid was on the CU staff. Well, and Zimmer was rumored to be the offensive coordinator before Shermer was named that, by the way, guys. And part of that was because Zimmer's kid is on the staff, and so people thought they would come together and be OC together. I don't know. That's a fact, but we didn't know that until after So honestly, think this hire will shock a lot of people. I think at first it'll shock, and like you said, I think after the fact we'll be like, oh, the dots were all connected there. The dots were there in front of us, and we just didn't see it, and we could have figured it out. Some people will figure it out. If Marvin Lewis is the guy, hey, we pieced together all the pieces and the dots, and it made sense, and that was why we were able to find that. So Zimmer is a defensive coach, first, foremost. Oh, was he then rumored to be the DC, not the OC? Am I getting those backwards and mixed before we took Charles Kelly? Is that what I'm missing here? Zimmerman, because he was coming to see you before he got the DC job at Dallas. Yeah, Mike Zimmer has retired, so that's retirement is never permanent, guys. Sapp mentioned knowing a guy who can teach a spin move in an interview last year. That's why I thought Freeney or, hey, Derek Brooks. Darryl Green makes the most sense to me. Charlie Strong. Prime loves Zimmer, coached him at Dallas. Or who did he coach? Prime loved him, coached him at Dallas. Who are we talking about, Joe? Am I going back to Are we talking about Mike Zimmer? Let me know if that's what we're talking about. Yeah, Darryl Green's a DB. I'm not worried about D-line. We're good, but O-line, big? Question mark? I mean, the personnel, of course, are always going to be question marks until the actual season starts with the O-line. As far as the coaching room goes, I'm not worried about that at all. To have a room of Gunnar White, Andre Girard, and George Hageman coaching up that offensive line, we're going to be just fine, guys. We're going to be just fine if we're talking about that. Zimmer coached Prime with the Cowboys, so flip that. Got it. I mean, that is a pretty good tie. Does Zimmer have any ties to Livingston, though? That's my question. If Uncle Neely's throwing that little tidbit today on Wednesdays with Warren, perhaps that could be a potential. Let's take a look at his resume. I'm going to take a look at Mike Zimmer's resume, and we can, go off of that. Okay, Mike Zimmer. Let's take a look at his coaching acumen and go through his history. I know he coached the Vikings. Okay, Zimmer's first coaching job, by the way, guys. I'm going to let you guys know a little bit about Mike Zimmer. Oh, here we go. Part-time defensive assistant at the University of Missouri, Weber State. Defensive backs coach, defensive coordinator, and defensive backs coach at Washington State. Okay, joined the Cowboys staff. Okay, defensive coordinator, defensive back. So lots of defensive back stuff for Zimmer, more than defensive line guys. Atlanta Falcons. Oh, Cincinnati Bengals. But was Livingston there during that time? Then the Vikings. And then the Dallas Cowboys recently to be their defensive coordinator for a second time. So not a lot to do with the defensive line, guys. You sure about that offensive line? I'm a little worried. Are you talking about the coaching staff or are you talking about personnel? Because personnel, again, like I said, I'm worried too. We still need more guys. Or are you talking about the coaching staff? I think Zimmer hired Livingston and Cincy, so they did overlap. Let's see. So the dates. So Zimmer left the Bengals. What, 2013, 2014? Mel Tucker's coming nowhere near Colorado ever again. Brandon doesn't think it's Zimmer at all. Livingston was a scout for the Bengals when Zimmer was at the Bengals, so there is that tie. DB going to definitely be good. Our DBs are great, guys, but we don't have a ton of depth. We get an injury or two in the defensive back, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to be in a lot of trouble at that point, guys. We really, really are if that happens. So that's something to think about and something to look at as well. I mean, there's a lot of great guesses here when it comes to this position and what could potentially kind of fill that in. It's going to be interesting, guys. We're going after a lot when it comes to the defensive line recruits already, but having Sapp be there and be a part of that transition is good. Lil Bucket, let me know what you mean with we have depth. Are you talking about the DB spot or where are you talking about? Because again, DB, we don't have as much depth as you think. We have great starters, but we lost a lot and we didn't bring in a ton. DB. You think we have depth at DB? Because I had our spring kind of, not depth chart, but spring roster pulled up a while back, and DB is good. Like, the starters are good. The depth is not so much. Okay? I'm going to bring it up again. You guys let me know. And yeah. Give me 1 second here. I will pull it up. Whoops. Let's present this to you guys. Where is it? There it is, depth chart. Okay, guys, here is what we have for the depth chart. When it comes to the defensive backs, you got DJ McKinney, Preston Hodge, Colton Hood. Those are your starters. You got Makari Vickers that can swing corner or safety. Okay, he might end up at safety as well. I can't remember which one it was. Part of the reason he left his previous school was because they were pushing him to his non-position. I can't remember if it was safety or corner. Let me know, guys. But outside of that, yeah, we got Harge. We've got a couple of the other guys, but we're not that deep, guys. Carter Stoutmeyer can swing to corner. But again, not that deep with guys that we can actually have play. We could use one more defensive tackle, one more DB. Defensive tackle, yes, we could maybe do with one more. But like I said, the right side of the line is where we really need to improve, guys. Right tackle is just scary. We lost 2 and added 2, I think. Well, so we lost Travis Hunter. We lost Shiloh. We lost Shark, man. Cameron Silman Craig. That's 3. We lost 3. And we added Tafiq. And we added Makari Vickers. So 2. Lost 3, added 2. Unless you count the freshman Antonio Branch Jr., but I'm not sure if he's going to participate his first year. No, we need another corner. Yeah, we need another nickel, another strong safety with 2 to 3 more offensive linemen. Joe Kidd's got it. I think that's a good number of what we're looking for. How many scholarships do we have? I don't think they've updated the scholarship chart. Adam Munster Tiger keeps track of the scholarship chart for the public. Explain what's not good about backup DB. What's not good about our backup DBs? I just mean we need more. Couple injuries and you're at the end of the depth chart, guys. You guys forget Travis took up the number 1 wide receiver each week with no help. That is impossible to reproduce. Ben has been moved to safety also. So if we pull him off of corner, again, we're looking a little bit shabby on that. I'm not sold on Jaheim Otis. Saw his all-22 film. So he didn't look great at Bama at times, but I think he'll develop. And he's looking better at practice. He's getting in shape. He's really putting in the work. I'm going to give him a chance, East Coast. I really am. And Branch Jr., yep, I said that. And we have R.J. Johnson. We have Riley. I've got those guys in here. R.J. Johnson, Savion Riley. But we definitely need more. We need more depth. Not necessarily starters. That's the problem we're going to run into, guys, when it comes to transferring in some more DB help. Is there going to be guys that are probably not going to start because we've got our starters in Preston, Colton, DJ. Okay, those are going to be our starters on the defensive back. We definitely need, though, some depth. We really do. Otis should look better in the Big 12 for sure. That's also going to help. Ben and RJ Johnson will have good seasons. Let's go get Lawrence Taylor to replace Damione Lewis. Somebody already said that. I mean, that would be absolutely insane. If that were to happen, I don't know what would happen in college football. They would go crazy. I mean, we've already seen the world kind of lose its mind with everybody being positive about the Marshall Faulk ad. Like, it's one of the most positive announcements for Colorado that I have ever seen since Coach Prime has been here. Otis started as a true freshman. Nick Saban, throughout the tape from last year, new system, played a different style up front. That's true. And his grades, by the way, guys, I looked at it. He's doing okay. He's doing okay. Cam will eventually be two-way as well. I would love that. I would love for Cam Michael to go two ways. He is a weapon that we could have on this team. A weapon. Lawrence Taylor has warrants. I mean, we hired Warren Sapp. That was a little scary at times based on his history. I think it's a pipe dream. I think it's a pipe dream, guys. I really don't think that that's even close to potentially happening. You guys are absolutely hilarious with that. Yeah, so this is our chart. Again, not a depth chart. I said it last time, got some comments. This is just who I have in different positions, where they could be, just to let you guys know depth, not the starters. Did you see Cam dust Augustine and say, sorry, I'm not even healthy yet? I know. Cam Michael's not at 100%, guys. So everything you see right now is not 100% with him. Russ, I'm late. What up? King John, we're just talking about who could potentially replace Damione Lewis. Not much else really going on, if we're being honest. Sapp is a Walt Disney story compared to Lawrence Taylor. I love it, East Coast Kev. I love it. You're probably right. That's why we can just put Lawrence Taylor out of mind, guys. It's not happening. Not happening. 100%. We got the second round of the portal. Well, and Brandon, that's the whole point. That's what I'm saying when it comes to our depth. Like, we are going to be adding 5 to 10 more players when everything's said and done, depending also on who leaves. So don't worry about it right now, okay? We can have question marks. I guarantee that the team has the same question marks, and they're going to be adding in that second portal coming up very soon, guys. We're, a month away from the second portal? It's going to come real quick. Lawrence Taylor can't leave those candy nose alone. Prime fans are delusional. How many do we have in the roster now? I don't know what the number is. I know it's not a depth chart, but I think Zarian McGill is taking Cash's spot. I would actually agree that too. I think Zarian McGill will be the starting center for us. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we won't know. But I wouldn't sleep on Cash Cleveland's work ethic and ability to work this offseason. He could get himself physically into a spot to take it from Zarian McGill. But I agree, when we added Zarian McGill, I slotted him in my mind in the starting center spot. I think we lose a couple, add like 10 in the second round of the portal. Yeah, I could see that. If we lose a couple, we might see like 12 to 13 adds. We were still, based on the number that I know Coach Prime and staff are looking to add every year in the portal, we're right now needing 10 more guys. Add in a couple guys leave, you might looking at 12 to 14 ads in the second portal if needed. Okay, Prime probably got a good hire in the works. Oh, that's what we said. Like Neely today, Uncle Neely on Wednesdays with Warren talked about it. They definitely said that there's already people in play, and there have been. Coach Prime already knew about Damione Lewis leaving before we did. So he's on top of it. Why not Cash? I didn't say why not. I just think, Cash did a great job being thrusted into that because our other centers were just not good enough and did what he needed to do. But if a guy comes along who is, power 4 center level, they're probably going to take that job right now from Cash Cleveland. Cash still needs to get some of his physical aspects up. And he's said that. If you guys watch the videos, he's still trying to pack on some more weight, add some more muscle. He was only a freshman last year. So the fact that he even did what he did then is amazing. He needs time to develop. He was just thrusted in because of a situation and a circumstance. You don't want to necessarily put yourself in that situation again. So that's why we went out and got Zarian McGill and added him to this team. Cash needs to focus on his body and gaining weight. Exactly. I see Staub leaving a quarterback. I also see adding a linebacker, corner, safety. Honestly, think all defense next in the portal. We got to add more line, though. We're still missing a right tackle, guys. Just look at this. I mean, we've got Cardi Smith and Ogunbiyi. If I want to move Phillip Houston over there, I could. You're a little light on the right side of the line, guys. Starting running back is coming in the spring portal now that Falk is here. You think so? You don't think one of the guys on the roster could do it pretty well? I like Augustov. I like Michael Welsh. Cash got manhandled in that bowl game. He started great, but as he played more, his play slipped. He needs another year in the weight room. And that's why he got killed, guys. He was going up against 24, 25-year-old on BYU. Just a guy that was just physically more dominant than him. Yep. Whatever Prime loses can be replenished in the portal. Man, it's cool to see coaches get elevated or get opportunities other places. The media thing CU doesn't just help the players, but it also showcases the coaches too. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. You guys can tell this to Miami fans. Because I've heard them, say, hey, Colorado's not that good. And yet, our coaches are getting promoted elsewhere. I mean, we must have decent coaches if they're getting moved there. Are they only decent coaches after they leave us? So when it comes to Loadholt, Dancy, Lewis, all of those guys went on elsewhere. I mean, they came from Colorado first. Facts, I definitely agree with that. On needing a tackle, yes. Yeah, CU's biggest need is right tackle. Yeah, exactly. We good at running back. We probably could go in the season with the running backs we have. By the way, saw yesterday's video. Dallin Hayden. Does anybody else think he looks bigger? Stronger? You let me know. I thought he looks bigger when he was talking to Shador in Well Off. Spring portal, I can see Coach Falk going for another running back in that running back room. Charlie Offerdall is odd man out. Potentially could be that. But Prime does love Charlie, so he's not going anywhere. It'll probably be somebody else that goes, but Charlie may not play. Augustov has no twitch or lateral agility. He's just fast and straightforward. We need a Marshall Falk type back through the portal. This depth chart doesn't have smalls listed at tight ends. 97% sure he's back. Yeah, I didn't have space for him when I originally made it, and I wasn't sure if what the plan was with him, but he's here. You just can't see it. I just wanted to show some of the other guys. Dallin does look bigger. I thought I was crazy, but I was like, dang, his arms are much bigger than they were last year. He's looking more like a bruiser than a, scat back, speed back type of running back. I don't care. It's not a charity case. Charlie Offerdall would never see the field on another Power 4 team. Yes, he did get bigger. You noticed it as well. Yep, Mantrez looking bigger and same height as Wester. Mantrez, if he keeps working hard, guys, he's got the mind. He's got the mind to play linebacker. Can he get the physical aspect of his body ready to go for the Power 4 game in time to play this year and making an impact? Who knows? But he is going to be a part of this team, a big part of this team in the future, for sure. Everyone looking bigger for sure. Did you see Miller? Oh, yeah, Miller. I mean, all the freshmen from last year, they're finally getting to that point, guys. They've had an entire year with the program. It's going to start looking very different. And Swayze is going to put these guys to work. I'm super excited to see Zane D'Souza. He can play. Those two freshmen tight end, if they can get their bodies physically ready, height-wise, great. Pack on some muscle, but not too much. Not too much. We still want them agile. We still want them to be that deep threat. We could have something there in the tight end room very quickly, guys. Between Zach Atkins, Sam Hart, Savell Smalls, Zane D'Souza, Corbin Leisure, those all could be the top tight end could be somewhere in that room for Pat Shurmur's offense coming forward. Shout out Swayze. He's getting them right. Swayze's putting in the work, guys. Swayze is putting in the work. You can tell the guys already love him. He's hilarious, by the way. Absolutely hilarious. Dallin Hayden is that third and short power back. He's turning into that more and more with the build he's putting on. No shade to Mata, but I still don't trust him with long field goals. I don't think anybody does. There's a reason we brought in Buck Buchanan. Just watch. Miller's giant. I didn't think he was that big. I saw him next to Coach Mo, and Miller just looking massive. And hugging on Shador, he looks massive. Like, the wide receivers, boys, are putting in the work. They are going to be good. I'm definitely loving how serious the weight room is looking. No music allowed anymore. They said, yep, all work. That's Swayze, guys. That's the difference that Swayze brings to the weight room and what they're going to be doing, guys. That's the biggest change you're going to see. If Omarion gets any bigger, he's going to have to switch to tight end. Swayze was the best hire so far. I'd agree with that. I love that hire. Isaiah Augustov is the best back in the team. I'm just glad Shador is not the OC anymore. Run the ball. Let's have a balanced offense. Get it, JJ. I get it. We're going to see. We're going to see exactly what was the cause of everything going on. Or is it just Shermer? I'll be the first to call it out if it happens. I will. I will be the first to call it out if it happens. Okay, guys. Not much else to talk about here. You know, it's a Wednesday. We're coming up on spring practice is coming very soon. We just got workouts right now. Obviously, we got the combine coming up. We got the NFL draft coming up. We'll do some stuff together for that. So just stay tuned here. Hey, make sure you guys are pushing that like button. The likes always help. The likes are going to be really, really important, guys, to this channel. You know, people want to support this channel without having to pay anything. That's a great way to do it. Hit that like. Make sure you're subscribed. Love that. Absolutely love it. Swayze's the man, 100%. He's going to be a difference maker. Appreciate you guys so much for coming in. We're going to call it for the day, but I'll be back later on this week with some more. And, of course, if there's any breaking news, we will cover it here and discuss it with you guys. But as always, for Buffs News Weekly, I'm Russ Dornish. Sco Buffs.